Hello everyone, in this video I'll be giving you a beginner's guide to Subnautica 2 to ensure that you have the best start possible. This game is pretty vague with a lot of things that you need to do, but the first thing we're going to be doing is gathering a bunch of resources and crafting some tools, because our fabricator here is going to be one of our best friends. The very first thing you should create is the survival multi-tool. This is created with titanium, which you can find on the ocean's floor. Getting basic fins are also nice, with rubber and fiber being pretty easy to get, and I'll show you how to do that as well. And I'd also recommend grabbing a scanner as soon as possible, and I'll show you where to get quartz, as well as craft a basic battery here with copper and the acidic rayon pouch. Now at the start, one of the most difficult resources is going to be food, so I'd recommend to ration out your nutrient blocks pretty well. But when we first start off here from the life pod, there are actually a lot of resources in this immediate area, and you can see a few of them here. So quartz is going to be something that you're looking for quite frequently in this game. To find quartz, you're going to see it inside of these large coral reefs here. So when you come on the inside, I just cleared this one out. They'll be all over this. I do have a separate guide on how to farm it, but you're going to be looking out for as many of these as possible, and as you go and explore, you may end up finding some other things here. Now, I would recommend watching out for these here. Bringing out your survival multi-tool once you get it crafted, you can actually go ahead and salvage these, and we want to do that and then grab the acid rayon in the middle here. So these here are things that you just want to avoid until you have that multi-tool there. We got some titanium here as well, so that's perfect. You do need the tool to be able to take over those there though. And the nice thing is, as you continue your way throughout, there's actually a really nice buff that we can get early on as we proceed, the life pod being right there, over to this southeastern section. So this is a place that's going to give us buffs, and I would recommend grabbing this early because this can totally speed up your way of playing. Once you come over here to the biolab, you can grab the dash or the pathfinder here. Now, the dash is obviously a lot better. We don't really need to have pheromones here to follow our way. The dash gives us a way to get away from predators. As well, it also is just making us faster, which is one of the most annoying parts about the early part of this game. So that's for our active biomods at the start. The passive ones, Sea Skimmer I like a lot, although oxygen control can be nice because you can keep your oxygen levels if you don't move underground. Typically, you're going to be wanting to move around. So in my opinion, Sea Skimmer is a little bit better because if you're on the floor of the ground, you're going to move quicker. And that's good because you're going to be consuming less oxygen technically for the distance traveled. And especially early on, this is useful because we're going to be going on the sea floor to grab a bunch of stuff. Now there's a bunch of other things in this area here, but we'll just leave that for now. You can just go and scan it. I would recommend grabbing a scanner early on because this is going to be something you're going to do every single time that you see items, and pretty much everything in the game. Another nice thing about the scanner is that in the area of effect, you'll see little dots appear when there's items that you want to grab. So we got our survival multi-tool. To get a scanner, we need a battery. Now that's going to be a little bit more challenging because for a battery, you need copper. We got the acidic rayon pouches here. So copper is another one that's probably the most rare thing that you can find early on in the game. Now these plants here are going to be your best friend because when you're running low on oxygen, those bubbles will help out quite a bit. And you can camp out by it because they'll release it through every so often. Oxygen can be something you have to watch out for, but so is water. Food is a little bit more of a difficult story. I'll get to that in a moment. Water slugs are going to be your way of getting water early on in the game. Basically, you're just going to pick them up, don't eat them, hold them in your items, and then once you get to a fabricator, you can turn those into water bottles here. Don't have any on me at the current moment, but that is a very important thing to do. And this cave just so happened to end up having some copper broke down here. Copper, again, being a very difficult one to find because it's typically hidden in these caves and other areas, but at a much more rare rate. We can see some more on the roof here. Now, again, you want to have this here so you can break it apart and get the 3 of them there, but as you continue to explore, when there's any type of titanium around, you're likely going to see copper hidden on the roof of the area, so just be on the lookout. Next, we got our base. Now, the base is something that's kind of subjective to where you want to place it. We have enemies here, so we're going to get out of the way. My life pod being 160 meters away, I like to have it relatively close for the early game. You can set up another base later on, so it's not a big worry. But with this base, it's obviously something you're going to have to be able to craft here with the habitat builder. So we got our scanner, we got our survival multi-tool with all those items required. The habitat builder is going to require some of the similar items that we already had. Glass is made from quartz, so this is something that you can continue to scan to learn more of these, but we'll get glass, we need copper wire from copper, and we need a battery, which is another copper related thing. The habitat builder is going to allow you to create your base here. Now, you can only at the start, for whatever reason, I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to just give you hallways. So when you get that mission in the game to build it, you're just going to use corridors. It'll be tight. Like literally my starting base was literally this hallway here. all the way over to here. And you have to put multiple of these on here just to seal it off so it becomes airtight and you can breathe in here. And all I had in here at the start was a bunch of storage. That's all I really could put, storage and a fabricator. As you then scan more items later on, you will eventually be able to craft rooms here. And you can see we got a lot of different options, windows, moon pools. You got lots of different ways to decorate it. There's lights so you can see at nighttime. These aren't really a necessity. They cost power, which you're going to create power early on by using solar panels. Later on, you can use the hydro, the areas that are going to give you that increased movement speed to then use generate power that way. But solar panels are going to be your best friend early on. We put a lot of them on the roof here. You can see your total power draw on the top left-hand side of the screen. So I have 140 units of power being stored, and I'm using 26. The only issue with the using these is during the day you're going to have a lot of power, and at night you're not going to. So you may have to, you know, put a few more down to get that same amount at nighttime, or later on you can then build off of this a little bit further. But next is getting rubber. Now, rubber is actually something you can find really easy at nighttime. Those little Lucifer rot sacks here, you can find those pretty much everywhere. They're in these little plants. They usually come in a row of 3. Just go in, grab them, and then you got yourself some rubber easy enough there. But at this point, you're probably pretty hungry. And that's something that's going to happen because you don't have the genetics to be able to eat food that you see on the sea. And this is actually solved really easily. So I set my base up right outside of this angel comb here. So here it is relative to the, so there's the light pod 155 meters away. So you're going to come here as part of the story. It's not very clear. You have to go down there, and it doesn't tell you that you have to go and actually touch your hand onto this to be able to eat food, but that is how you're going to do it. And once you can eat food, then we can start to focus on the main story now. So this is something you're going to get from your little pod. You can get it at the life pod, but you can also build one yourself. And the Noah terminal is going to continually give you different updates on characters you're going to want to go and find out. So with this, whenever you get notified of a nearby character, you actually have to go and explore whatever region that they're in, and you got to explore it really in depth because there's typically going to be items and a lot of things for you to scan to be able to progress further in the story. If you're ever stuck, you may want to go back to a place that, you know, if you still have the notifier on the NOA here, go back to the spots that are talking about, and there may be some things you need to scan or interact with. There's a lot of little holotapes and things you will have to like left click on, and there's also things you'll have to use your scanner on. So always be on the lookout for that. There's going to be a lot of things early on that you can just scan and move around and grab. So whenever you're in those areas, just make sure you clear it out fully. And if you see these fish, that's where you got that dash to come in handy because that gives you a bit of extra movement speed to get away from them. I would recommend not using it until they get close up on you and you can kind of like dash right out of it. Eventually, you're going to want to get the wake maker here. This is going to increase your swimming speed. And what's nice about this is it is not that hard to get. You're just going to look for silver. This is required for the wiring kit here, which also uses copper, grease, which is a thing that's similar to rubber here with a less cost, and a basic battery, which are pretty easy to make. And one pro tip before you go farm anything, like in our case silver here, there's a lot of silver in one particular location, clear out your inventory often. Whenever you have items in your little storage here, the great thing about that is it's going to be accessible when you go to build things. So yeah, always be clearing out your inventory, keep food, keep other things. I'm playing a little risky right now, but I'm not in any rush to grab it as I was able to grab water earlier, but and for us to get silver, we're going to come straight out of our life pod here and go due north. So whenever you're in this northern area, you're going to swim for about 200 meters. So you can see the life pod is directly south, 222 meters away. We're getting attacked. If you swim straight down here, there's a big hole in the ground and it's going to have a ton of silver. It's also a good source of titanium here. I already cleared out a decent chunk of it here, and there's a bunch of other flowers in this area as well. But as you come down, you're going to see silver is everywhere here. So this is one of the best locations because silver is actually kind of hard to find, but you can get literally your entire inventory filled in no time at all. There's some other good resources down here, but yeah, if you're looking for silver, this would be the place to come and get it. So 200 meters directly north of our life pod. And nighttime's honestly a pretty solid place to go farm certain items because when you go underneath, you're going to see certain things glowing. Like we got some rubber off in the distance there. So it just makes spotting things a lot easier at nighttime, but it also runs some extra risk because the fish seem to be a little bit more aggressive at nighttime. But this is a beginner's guide to Subnautica 2. Let me know what other type of content you'd like to see for Subnautica 2. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already for more Subnautica 2, and we'll catch you guys all in the next video.